Hey everybody, how you doing today? Let's see who's here. We've got Charlotta, you're number one, Charlotta, and Glum is second. It's going to be a good show, I can already tell. Hi, Angie, Carrie, Joe Ellen, Brenda, Lori, Diane, Flora, Karen Rogers. All right, the Karen Club is coming. Team Karen. Hi, Angie, Laura. Hi, Wilma. Howdy, neighbor. Hi, Teresita and Tanya, Michelle, Kathleen. Oh man, you guys. All right, I can't catch up. Hazel, Lisa, Jen, Pia. Hi, Helen. All right, it looks like I got most everybody. Hi, Diane. Good to see you all. I'm happy to be here. The weekend was a little crazy. How was yours? You got a Big Shot Plus? That's great, Michelle. That really opens it up. You can do a lot. Team K is here. Now you can get the box. The box is fun. I did get my cinch, so I have an idea for what I want to do with that. So yours was crazy too, Tanya? Yeah, it was a 4-year-old birthday party. And while they were having it, it was my grandson, Charles, and it was Batman birthday. So there were like 16 little 4-year-olds and their parents. And then what happened was, and I don't know how they timed it right, but a tornado came in the next town. And while we were sitting there at dinner, the guy sitting next to me, he gets a text from his wife who just had a baby a month ago. And a tree in their front yard just totally came down. So that was very exciting. I know, everyone was fine. They were in the basement, luckily. They had gone downstairs because they knew it sounded weird. Anyway, I came home and had a big nap. It was fun, but it was exhausting. Lunch with your cousins. Oh, that's good, Charlotta. Did you get our storm? On Friday. No, we got it on Saturday. Yeah, we got a little rain on Friday, but oh, hey, Dixie and Judy, how are you? Good to see you. Yeah, it was not that bad where we were, but in Fairfax, which is close by, that's where they got it. Then we also had the auction going on. I want to thank everybody who came and participated. That was great. Yeah, I don't like tornadoes either. We lived in Kansas for a while. We had like warnings every other week. We had to go run down to the basement. We lived in quarters. We were on the second floor, so I'd get all the kids down there. Anyway, that was scary. You spent Sunday making layouts with Vicky. Oh, she is so much fun. Yeah. Hey, Minnesota Nancy, good to see you. Yeah, so we finished the auction stuff. I had a call with Jenny yesterday, and I mailed the US stuff out yesterday, and she is working on the UK stuff, and we raised some money. Yeah, it was on a military, it was at Fort Leavenworth, not in the prison. That was a fun assignment, actually. Lots of antiques auctions. It was fun. Bad storm. Oh, electric out for 24 hours. Is Karen B okay? Yeah, she is fine. She is, she will be back in circulation soon. She is just fine, Karen. I know you worry about her. All right, let me read my comments because we have really fun thing to do today. Well, what I want to do, I saw a project that Bona had done. She made this adorable little purse out of the Card Caddy die. And then I had another idea off that. So I'm going to take her idea and kind of twist it around a little bit. Hopefully, I don't know if it'll come out as cute as hers. She is amazing. You guys need to go sign up follow her channel. It's called Live, Love, Scrap. And she creates all the time, and she has a full-time job. So, oh, hey, Sheila, how are you? Oh, good to see you here. I'm going to be teaching at Sheila's in October, a really cool retreat. It's a cruise theme, so you know I'm into that. And my husband, booked another cruise. He's a maniac. He wants to get to the level where you get the 4 free drinks every day. It's like we could just buy it for what it costs to go on these cruises. I'm not complaining, but he's obsessed, but in a good way. So I'm going to do that in a minute. And I did have a couple other ideas, but you know, we have time to work on them. One thing I want to remind you guys, remember we did, wait, let me just put this up. It was our cherry on top. Where'd it go? Remember we did the cherry on top collaboration. You have till August 8th to put your projects in their gallery, and there are 3 really good prizes. So go ahead over a cherry on top and go to gallery, and then you'll see the challenge in there. And then here's the photo of the auction, and all of those are gone, and we raised some money. We haven't figured out, you know, giving the money. We're still working on shipping and all that. So we'll let you know when we get to that. We also have our retreat out in California next year. So what do you think about that? Wouldn't that be fun? Crafting on the beach. So take a look. All right. And then the last thing is I have a little mini paper trail. So I don't know, Lisa Townsend, if you're going to stamp away or anything. The problem is I go out there on Friday. I teach at the store. Then I drive down to stamp away. That's 6:30 to 10:30. And then 9 till 4:30 is the show. So it's like there's no time to like get together with anybody, because then I have to come home and this whole update on my daughter. They had the big flood in their house that they've owned for 1 month. Well, they bought it in May, so month and a half, 2 months. It's totally messed up. So the insurance people came out. They have to move to another house, which is beautiful. It's right on the water it's right next to the Coast Guard Academy where Jason works. So I don't know when they're going to move, but it might be when we're there and it might not. So we're still waiting to hear. You want to craft on the beach, Angie? Can I show that again? Yes. You should talk to Taylor. She knows about this. Hang on, let me find it. Yeah, it's very cool. They have all kinds of wellness people coming. There's crafts. Every day she keeps posting up all these people that are coming. I'm like, wow. The Crafty Chica's going. I think I have a room next to her, which I'm excited about. So anyway, yeah, come on down, Angie. Come to it. All right. Let's see. Hi, Sandy from Germany. So what else? We have next week, because I don't know where I'm going to be, we have 2 special guests. We have Maggie coming on Tuesday. She's going to do the live. And then on Thursday, we have this friend of mine that I met, I kind of reconnected with. And she is from Fave Crafts. It is a huge site, and she is an editor now. So I thought it might be interesting to hear about, you know, what an editor does on a big craft site. And she's welcoming questions. So come on over and ask her some questions if you have any. Hi, Alice from the Grey Cold UK. Oh, better than the hot. Well, today was nice. I'm not complaining. Oh, one other thing. Because I'm going on this trip, I'm leaving Wednesday night. I'm driving Thursday, and I'm not sure I'm going to get to a live, but on Wednesday at, I forget what time I said, Wednesday at noon, I will be closing my Etsy store. So if anybody needs anything, you know, try to order tonight so I can get it done. I can do it tomorrow. I'm just packing and stuff. But if you have any orders, hey, Amy Powers, I've been meaning to call you. So if you have any orders, just let me know, because I'm going to close this shop tomorrow at noon. Okay? I'll be back on August 14th, if I'm still alive. Just kidding, of course. They're lovely children. They're just escape artists, one of them. So, all right. So what we're going to do today is we're going to look at some more samples from the team. Now, some of these are older. They were from when this was released. But, you know, I looked at them. It's like, man, I don't even remember seeing that one. So we're going to look at them again and look at some of the ideas of things that you can do with them. That's always fun. And then we're going to make a project. And it involves making a little accordion file that's going to fit inside the caddy. And I think it's just so cute, and I can think of other things to do with it too. So bring a bag of Oreos. Yeah, what about when that's gone? I'm dead. I'll have to do a video from there. That will be funny. The good thing is we can still go back to their house, which has a pool. So that will keep them busy. All right, so let me get my other thing here. And down. Okay. All right, I'm getting the hang of this, guys. Are you impressed? Don't be. All right. So let me show you first the samples. Sorry, I'd like to get it just right, but it just doesn't ever happen. It's never perfect. Okay, let's get going with the samples. Now, these are a bunch of different things that you can do with the caddy. Let's start off with a bang. This is one that really is very simple. If you can put one together, you can put two together, and you can just glue them together or use like a little belly band here to hook them together and use them as like a little caddy. Sorry if you're getting seasick. Anyway, all right. This thing always sticks here. Okay. And I'm going to turn this sideways. There'll be a little piece of the handle. I need to get like a little stick that comes down from the ceiling. Hey, Janie Jane. Need to wait a bit longer. Didn't mean for their site to pop up with means newest dies. That's where to go. Yes, go to scrapbook.com. Yours come tomorrow? Wow, Lisa, they're quick. Oh, that's cool. All right, now this is the sunflower die. This was made by Maggie. Thank you, Maggie, for tagging that so I remember, because it's been a little while. So this is the sunflower and leaves. That looks so pretty. I would love to know how she did. Look at that. Isn't that cool? It's like caviar kind of. Anyway, she used her graphic 45 papers, and this is so cool for like a nice little gift box or something for the fall. All right, let's keep moving here. All right, this one, this is from Madeline. And you're going to be surprised what's inside unless you remember what was there. Watching from Brunei. Wow. I'm Mayura. Wow. Okay, you ready? Look at this. She's got her little... Actually, I have that paper. Oh, their fondness for each other. These are so cute with the little waterfall and the tags inside that just fit. So keep that in mind. Your waterfall is going to fit inside this journal. Well, we're using it as a journal, but it doesn't have to be. It's meant to be a box, but it's whatever you want it to be. It's a dream come true. Look at that cool picture. You know, I wonder if that's Madeline's dad or mom. What would you say? You guys have seen Madeline. You think that's more, does she look more like her mom or dad? Can you tell? I don't know if it's either of them. I'm just saying. I'll have to ask her. And look at this. She used the little frame inside. Is that not adorable? Oh, hey, Beatrice. Oh, I'm glad you're here. Yeah, I know. It's beautiful. Yeah, the papers are really pretty too. I agree. Everything Madeline does is just right. And look at how she did the corners there. You know, that's like a little leaf die. So, you know, if your corners are not exactly perfect, just put a little decorative element, and then look at this. She put this here. on the corners, like a little, if you know, if your corners have a little gap to them, just camouflage. They're beautiful. Yes. Still waiting on your order. All right, Karen Rogers, hopefully soon. Okay, now we've seen it as a box. Now here it is as a book. And Lisa made this. And she covered it on paper and then just added the flowers on the front of these little purchased journals that she got. I don't know where she gets them. I'm always wondering because they're like cute sizes. And this holds five little books. So I know, I love that idea for the corner, Brenda. And this is the woven leather. Look at how she really does. Lisa is amazing with texture and dimension. So that's really cool. So you can make so many things out of it. All right. Now here's one that I did. This was with some handmade paper that I got at Marco's Paper, which I'm going to again, and probably going to buy some more. It comes home and I'm like, I don't know what to do with it. It's too pretty, you know, and it's like some of it I didn't get enough. So if I want to make more than one, or, you know, I need to go get more. So I just used some seam binding to tie it. And I just laid this piece of paper on the die, and I ran it through and just folded it in half and made this fun little book. Oh, there's Madeline. Yes. Oh, Amazon. The little books you got in a bundle. Okay. Sandy, I'm not sure. Is Lisa here? I don't think she's on a different time zone. It's like a bad time for her. It's like, you know, she's got kids at home. And then I just used some music paper, some book pages, some coffee dyed paper. Some I cut in the shape, you know, to echo this here. And some are just kind of plain. That's an old envelope that I coffee dyed. Here's some like a little, I think they call that a tip-in. So you could put journaling or a photo under there if you wanted. And some more, that's like a little envelope that I just stuck in there, did a little bit of stamping. I don't know what that is, but it's like shiny. Huh, I don't know. That's like the flap of the envelope, and that's an index card. So anyway, I was just using little scraps that I had, but it was fun. And I love this little mini journal. It took no time at all to make. And I just used one of my stamps on the front. It does look like old leather. It's pretty thick. It's surprisingly thick. I was worried that it might get like brittle and break, but you can see here the score lines, but it didn't. And I just stitched it in and tied it with a piece of string. I probably ought to finish this off, but I don't know. I kind of like it the way it is. Just a little piece of paper that fell out somewhere. Anyway. Now, you know that we can't go without showing a banner that it's made out of. So here is Madeline's spin. She made this really cute little home banner. Can you see that whole thing? Isn't that adorable? So she cut it out of, oh yeah, this was smart. Madeline, tell us how. This is like a cardstock with burlap on it, like burlap paper. But then what she did was she folded it over and trapped her string inside and glued it so it stays. And then it's really easy to just fold it up. I would probably put it in tissue paper. I'm packing it up to bring to this show. So you forgot about that one? That's because you've made about 10 million banners, Madeline. It's so cute. She used the little, this one is the Shadow Box Elements die that has all the little houses and the fence, you know, and the wreath is from a Christmas one. So again, you can mix and match all your flowers and your, you know, alphabets. This is really cool. I don't know how she did this. It looks like glossy accents or something. I love this. So springy. It's just beautiful. So I need to get some tissue paper and wrap that. But even if I don't, if I'm careful when I open it, look at how good it packs down. If you did banners, when you go to Madeline's house, you just see how much they add to your decor, Now here's another one that Madeline did. Let me take these out. I did some other little things with them, but this is another little organizer, and she had words on here that said notes, and we lost one of the things, so I forgot. I need to make another little label for it. But this is the thing that I really like about this one. She took extra side supports and added them into the center, so you have little dividers. Oh, I've been looking for that. And then you could add cards back here or whatever. This is made, it looks like chipboard. So this is 3. And then these are cute little handles, so you can just pick it up. You could also use this for like silverware, if you had put the napkins in the back and just do another divider so you have knives, forks, spoons, and, serving pieces or something like that. So lots of ways you could use this for any season too. All right. Now, these are ones that I just loved, taking this shape and making these little folders. So I just took a piece, cut it out of paper, scored. I think this was wrong side. 1.5 inches on either side, and then the middle is 2 and almost 2 1/4. So it just looks pretty, and then you can do them any height. So I think I went a little nuts with them, but I made, so this is what they look like, Oh, here, look at that. I was prepared. I didn't even know it. So you just cut one panel and then score and then fold it. And you've got this cute little piece here. So I made a bunch of them. Some of them I inked. Now this one, I scored at the bottom, so I had like an envelope flap and made like a little pocket out of it. Just glued this down instead of letting it open, and look what you can hold, a little gift card. Isn't that amazing? You want to see the group make banners. All right, did you guys hear that? Do we need a challenge here? I don't know. See, so you can do them tall. This is another little pocket that I made. I went crazy with these. I never finished them, but you could make a little book out of this. This would be adorable. So, oh, this one I did a double. That was fun. So, here's another double. Isn't that one pretty? They're just fun to make, and they take no time or brain power. You gotta love that. So, any scraps you have, just cut out a front and make some of these. So we should talk about doing a challenge, banner challenge. What do you guys think? All right, here's another one. Hi, Jackie. She is the banner queen, not hidden. All right, here's one from Pam, and she used her graphic 45 paper, made like this cute little junk journal. And look at these, aren't those adorable? These little tiny paper clips, and her little flaps. I can do this right here. So Pam she is a paper wizard, this girl. So these have all little pockets and fun things to look at. The kids love these. They will just look through, and it's just, they're delighted. I'm not going to go through every one, but they're all where you open them, and there's little spreads. So cute. So you can make this into whatever you want, any color you want, any shape. Now, if you wanted to make this thinner, you would just fold on this line and that line, and you'd have a wider book, so if there was something you wanted to fit in there, you could do it. So here's one that I did. This one's not done, but I just covered it with that burlap. I got that at, it was a ribbon, actually. I got it at Michael's last year. I loved it. I just thought it was so striking. So all you have to do is, cover your mat board with this. I did adhesive, and then I just did a roll of it. It was 6 inches wide, and it goes in one pass. And look at, wouldn't they be cute on a table? Giving presents to like a bunch of people, like a favor, or at your table, you could do a little name card on there, and then a nice little present, little sprigs of greens in there. I just thought that was so fun and easy. Here is one from Lisa Hole, and her mixed media is just insane how she does with the stamps. And, I said, how did you do that? Did you buy these? Wait, did I show you this one? I can't remember, but I love that. She must have gotten the same books that she put in the other one. Look at that cool charm and a pearl. Perfect. Hi, Terry of Treasured Notes. Napkin holder, yep. All right, here's another one from Lisa. We're on a roll here. Don't tell me. She probably has the same little books. Yeah. So I don't know. She lives in Idaho. She's got good books out there. And then she just took some little papers and collaged them like a little mosaic on there. Hi, Jackie. I know. Aren't they amazing, all these ideas? That really has some fun texture. And then this matches. So she did that on the front and made like this little flower and then stitched. Oh, my Lord. Or wait, maybe that's a die cut. I think it is. It's hard to tell. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? And then a nice ribbon around it. So you can add hard and soft, whatever you want to do. Or you could add note cards in here. Here's one that Susie did. And she had matching cards. I think I had them in a different bag, but she used the woven leather file or folder. And then what she did was she cut this full size and embossed it, and then just trimmed it down so that this made like a nice little panel on here. And then all of her cards were similar. They had this on the front, so you knew it was a set. Yeah. Oh. Crazy. All right, and something that, now we did this on a Facebook Live. I was amazed. I was so happy when I figured out that if you've got the passport book, it perfectly fits inside. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? So this is made out of leather, and we embossed that, and I love that one. So anyway, that's embossed with the sweater design. Yeah, I know, Hazel. And this we decoupaged with book papers, and then we added napkin on top and just kind of used this rubber stamp. This is one of my stamps. And then I doodled around the edges and brought in some of the color that we had used in the background. And then just there's some washi tape, and just tied it with string and a button, and that was it. And we've got, and then this even matched. That one was already ready. So yeah. So yes, brass feet, that would be really cute. If you have this passport book, and you want to give it as a gift, this Card Caddy would make the perfect way to give it. It's like its own little case. You could even put the name of it on the side and store it, away from the light. The 4-bar card size and envelopes fit perfectly in this box. Yes, Amy, we looked at yours last time, and yeah, I could tell they did fit, and that was handy. But I didn't know the name of the size, so thank you for saying that. Okay, I think that's all I have for today. But we have more. Oh, wait, here's one more thing. This is the Sizzix surfaces. I love this. I can't find I found this clear Velcro, and I loved it because I don't like seeing that. So I should have switched these, but this is just the paper leather, and I die cut it and just stitched it up the edge. Don't look too close because it's not very good. And then I just added a little Velcro here, and you've got like a little wallet. Just folded it up so you can even see the score lines. You could cover that, but that's just one piece cut and folded up and stitched down the sides. That's all there. Oh, and then I embossed the cover just to make it look a little fancy. I might have also crinkled it up before to make it look more leathery, kind of. So, Flora, I'm sorry about that, but they're all good. You know what? And they're going to last you forever. You could be working with these for the rest of your life. I'm not kidding. Well, good, Pia. Actually, that is the reason we're doing this, but not me too. And I don't know, this was in one of those little pockets. So this is a little tiny book that I made that was just so cute. But anyway, there it is. All right, so let's get our stuff out, and I'll show you the products that I'm going to use. One of them is our new die from scrapbook.com. This is Starlit Village, and the piece that we're going to use, it's Starlit Village and Card Panel. So this is the piece that I'm going to use on here, because what it does is it mats the front of the, this is going to be, I guess I would say, more closer to a book than a box, but it could be either, depending on whether you wanted to close it in or not. Okay, so that's one piece we're going to use. And then the other thing is we're going to use the Card Caddy, and we are going to cut a cover. I did make one out of cardboard, and I just thought, you know, it was like corrugated cardboard. I had cut up a box, and I thought, let me just see how it works. Hi, Beth Holt. How are you? It worked fine. I'm not sure where I put them, but they're around here somewhere. But oh, here they are. I cut the binding off because I was thinking of doing it like so that there was no end to it, like you could do as many as you wanted. So I cut that apart, and then I decided, you know what, I think I do want to keep it together. So I'm just going to cut another one out of mat board. But we would use all these pieces. And again, you should watch the video from Bona, because it's basically her idea, but this is going to be a little bit different. All right, so you can either use your mixed media board, that would work fine, or your chipboard that's in here. You get 10 pieces. I have them in my Etsy store if you need them. I'm going to use the mat board just because I have a piece and it's ready to go. This is a little bit thicker than the mixed media board, and I do like the mat board. So that's the piece I'm going to use. That's the die. And then here is the paper. So this was a paper pad. I think it was one of my last things that I got at Tuesday morning. But I loved it because it's like watercolor flowers. It's so pretty. So it had 2 of each color, so I took 1 out of each one. And I'm going to make one and show you how I did it. I think I'll use, now I can't decide. Let's go by the back. That is really, maybe I'll do this one. It's really bright. But just to thumb through, you know, the nice thing too is it's got these little cards so you can use them inside your little book. So it's double-sided. You don't have to use double-sided. It's not really that important for this project. Oh, I can see that one. Oh, I'm going to do that one. All right. I don't have any white. I have a lot of intense colors, but every once in a while you need a rest. But these are cute too. You know, these would be cute for cards. So if you cut out that shape and just added one of these on the front, there's your card. Wow, I missed them too. I don't know what was. Ooh, that's pretty too. Shoot, some of them I already used, but I don't know if it's still there. I can't remember when I got it. That's pretty. They are. That is. All right, maybe that one. Well, I'll take them out. Let's see. But I just want to show you how I do one, and then you can replicate that to do as many, you know, as you need. All right, so first I'm going to cut my paper down, and I actually did a little cheat sheet. Here it is. I don't know. Here it is. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to trim this 12 by 12 paper down to 9 inches wide. And these are all floral, so it doesn't really matter. But just think about it. If you have a directional paper, then that's going to be more something you have to think about. Okay. So let's just trim off the strips here. Go to 12 by 12. And, you know, these are cute too. You could use these to decorate. So I have a whole file of all those. So I'm just going to cut these at 9 inches, since it doesn't matter. And then I'm also going to take these strips and I'm going to cut them at 2 inches. And this is going to be our little gusset for the side. Okay, so then you have another strip left, and you could do whatever you want with these. I saved them also, of course. All right, so we have these cut, and that's basically what we need. Okay, so let's cut our main shape first. I'm just doing this out of white, and then I'm going to take a pretty piece of paper and I'm going to trim it down into this size, so we'll have a nice little mat around it. That thinlet die can make smaller caddy-shaped pages. Yes, they can. And I thought about that, Glum, but I'm going to cut mine on here just because I'd have to go through each one. I didn't know how many I was going to use in one project, and I thought if I need 10 of them, I don't want to cut it with a thinlet. I want to cut it with the big one, but you definitely could. All right, and the other thing I forgot to say is you want to score this in half. We're going to cut them already folded. Okay, so get your scoreboard and your bone folder. So this is 9. We're going to score down the middle at 4.5. Okay. So I'm doing both of these. I don't know which ones I'm going to pick, so I'll just see when I get there. All right. But yes, it definitely could make very pretty pages if you were making a book out of this. All right, now the other thing is you probably could fold this in half and lay it on the line here, but I'm going to trim them because when you get 4 layers of this, it gets a little bulky. It might work fine. But I'm just going to trim these at 5.5 each. Forgot about that. I think I need to oil my chair here. No, not 4.5, 5.5. So I'm going to go to 11 and then 5.5. I'm going to do this one. 11. Sometimes I have to say it to myself so I remember. Okay. So you can cut 2 at a time if you want, though. All right. Now, one little tip that I'll tell you is because it's hard to see these score lines here, the first set that I did, I put them, I missed a score line and I cut it. So be careful. These are cutting blades in here. So you want to make sure that you are putting it right where you want it. So what I did to see that, because when I'm sitting back here, I can't always see these blades exactly where they are. So I just took a piece of washi tape and I laid it down, and that's where I'm going to match up all of my little edges. Okay. So I'm just going to lay that there. And it's my smaller cutting pad. It's just easier and less time. So I am going to go over this twice just to make sure that I get that little shape at the top, because that's a pain if you don't get that just right. You have to trim it with your paper, your scissors. Okay. So yep, cut perfectly. And now we've got these 2 little, they could be pages for a book, you know. Totally could be pages in a book. But I'm going to do 2 more. So I stacked them like this way, and I didn't say, but I'm putting the fold right down by the washi tape so I get the decorative edge on the top. That's really pretty. I think I got this when I started doing my watercolor, and I thought I can look at them and be inspired. Hi, Anita. You don't want to hear in late, half asleep, but you don't want to miss it. Well, it's, you know, still going to be here tomorrow. Okay. So, all right, yeah. So now these are pretty too. All right, we'll have to think about which ones we want to do. All right, now I still need to cut my mat board. So this is easy. I'm not going to use the sides. I'm not going to close this in because the pages that I'm making are the same width of the book, and that wouldn't be big enough. I could probably space my edges out if I wanted, you know, not gluing them straight in, like so the sides lined up. I could make them stick out a little, but I probably wouldn't like how that looks. So I'm just going to lay my mat board right at the end of this piece here. I waste it. And then I'm going to cut. I miss Tuesday morning too, Beth. I love that place. All right, I'm just going to bring it back to me because it's too hard. Wow, I just made it here. I can see, but it's good. Okay. So now we have our little, you know, this is going to hold our books. I'm going to need that to cut my mat. And I'm going to make one for each side. So we'll cut two at a time. And for that, we need other cutting mats. I mean, we could use the long ones, but so I'm using my platform, my adapter, and cutting pad. And I'm going to use this piece, which is a little bit smaller than that, which you can kind of see. I think you guys can see it right. And what should we put on the front? I mean, something kind of neutral might be nice, but I don't know. I love these flowers. Maybe this one. All right, so let's just cut a strip. Just use my scissors. You must think I never use scissors. I hardly ever do, because I'd rather die cut it precisely. All right, look at that. That's beautiful. All right, so let's just see where we want to. I'm just going to fold that over and cut it. You could, if you wanted, you could put like actually, I happen to have a piece of that mint tape here. So just to keep it together while you get your other cutting pad on top. It's so easy. All right, I'm gonna do that twice too, just because this is pretty thick. Yeah, no problem. All right, so now I have two covers. This is pretty handy, even just for this piece. But not to mention all those pretty little houses. Oh, here's another thing that I made. This is the Sizzix texture roll, and I use the white. And these are too long, but I have these scraps from this thing. So if I'm working on a project, I have all these extra little pieces inside, and you know, maybe I can make stuff out of that, at least out of these strips. But I stenciled that with little. You know what? Stupid thing. I got this ring light. Let's see if this would work. And see if it. No, it's still. It's so annoying. All right. Okay, so we're going to glue this on. I think I'm doing it. I don't know. I love that red, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I like the flowers. All right, so I'm just going to add a little bit of glue. Not too close to the edge because I'm going to squish out. And I'm just going to mat this. No, just center it. So easy. It already looks a million times better. It's killing me to ruin that nice red. Isn't it beautiful red? I'm really liking the orange reds these days. All right. Okay. So we have the outside of our little case. Hi, Karen. All right, so I'm going to lay this on the edge of my table. I'm going to fold this over because I want this to be the full width. Okay, so we have our little shape here. I'm going to fold it all the way over, breaking the fibers so they will not be crazy on me. All right, now the other thing that we're going to do is we made our little shapes here. So we're going to do a little bit more scoring, all right? So I think I have everything on here. What is my stupid light? Oh, there we go. Oh, maybe that's better. Still has those lines. So cut these remaining strips 2 by 12 inches. So we still have those. There they are. So let's get the scoreboard out again. All right, so we're going to do every 1/2 inch, and this is going to make the gusset. And you could cut them first. We're going to cut them at 3-inch strips, so we're going to get 4 of them out of this. But it's easier to just score them all at one time. And what I was thinking was, if you were going to use like tape, I would even put the tape on first and then cut them. And then your tape is all on everything. I'm just going to do this one too because I might want to make some more. So I'm just going every 1/2 inch on the 2-inch strip. All right, and then I'm going to do one more thing on my folded in half piece. Hey, there's Sabine. Good to see you. Hi, Cheryl. Hey, Tammy Davis, Sarah Lizzie. Okay, so we have the 1/2 inch right here. Now, the other thing that we're going to do is, maybe you can see that better. We're going to find a center point. So I'm going to just put that little line here on the 5-inch mark, and I'm going to go 1/4 inch on one side and 1/4 inch on the other side. Okay, and then we're going to fold that over. You could use your bone folder. This is a pretty small fold here, so sometimes it's a pain. And then you're going to fold over the other one too. And you could, if you want to do that, you can. All right, now we're going to cut these at 3 inches. So you could use the same one. It doesn't matter though, they all coordinate, so I'm not going to worry about it. Actually, let's fold these all up one time too. I think everything has been scored, so we're just going to fold these over on our lines and do like an accordion fold. Just make sure you get them straight. Okay, and now we're going to cut these into 3-inch strips. This does make it a little harder to lay flat and cut but I would rather not have to do each one individually. So then we're just going to do 3-inch pieces. Okay. I wish this was just a little bit bigger, like 6 inches. That would be nice. I do like this trimmer. This was one that I found that I had had for I don't even know how long, and I never used it. And I'm so happy. I use it all the time because it's cute. I can bring it with me. It's light. All right, so now we are going to, all right, I folded this the wrong way. I want this to show on the outside. So my tab is going to go inside. I think that's right. So I'm just folding the reverse way. Yeah. And then I'm going to glue this down and glue that down. We're going to fold it up, but you're going to fold it in half. You're going to go back to that original fold and just leave that right there. So you have this little gap here so it can fold up. Do you see that? So you're going to glue it on this 1/4 inch line, not the bottom. Okay. So what I do is just grab in the middle here and I do one side at a time, but you could do them separately if you want. And it's probably good if you have some little binder clip things to hold on, to pinch it when you're done. All right, let's see. That's right. I can't remember how I did that. I think it was, I'll look at my other one. Where are they? Okay, so this one went, yes, that's right. All right. So I'm just placing this down here. Oops, that was not supposed to lay down. And then just close it, all right? But you can lay it flat now and press, but just make sure you have that little gap, because if you put it all the way to the bottom, it's not gonna be a gusset, okay? Sure, I know. Now, Karen, Bona did it a little differently, okay? Hi, Linda, how are you? So I'm just pressing on this, but you get the idea. And I think I had to turn this inside out. So whatever side you're gonna have showing, just think about it, you know. Yeah, that's right. So that's how you make these little compartments. And I was thinking they would be so cute for ephemera. Now this one's a little harder because you've already got one in there and you don't want to pull it apart. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to go the other way. Did I do that right? Yeah, they're the same. All right. Well, all right, you could make it a little taller. I think I chopped it at the 3 so I could get 4 out of each one. Okay, just make sure. Yep, that's good. So then if you had your little clips, you know, you're watching the end in bed and you had a little drink. What a good day. Just relax. You don't have to do anything, Sabine. Just relax, and pretty soon you get to go to bed. I get very excited about that time of night. Except it's not till like 4 in the morning. I've been going to bed at 4 in the morning because I can do my email and nobody's messaging me. Anyway, all right, so here is our first little one. So you can put them in whatever order you like. And if they're a little bit shorter than the top, because remember we put it up when we laid it on the die. Now, there's a couple ways you could put this in here. And the other thing is, if you wanted to make this open more, you would just add more little, you know, you'd cut it at excuse me, say like 3 inches, and then it would open more, you know, so it's all whatever you want to do. The other thing is, if you want it to expand and you have it like this, you're only going to fit 3 of these in here because this is 1/2 inch. This is 1.5 inches in the center. So, you're going to fit 3 of these in here. So let's see. Let's just prove that. So here are some that I did before. And here's our new one. That's a lot of flowers. You have an idea if you came in the middle? Yeah, it's not hard at all, really. All right, so so if we wanted, you could put some double-sided adhesive on here and just stick it in the bottom, and it's going to be freestanding. You've got this nice little accordion folder. You could stick them together with Velcro, which was one of my thoughts. And these I got at the Dollar Tree. You could put them so that they stay together, and they don't fall out, which I might do because I don't really want them all. They're just kind of loose. The other thing I was thinking, how easy it would be to just do a belly band around the whole thing and then just take it off when you wanted to, store things in it. But I was thinking I've been at night when I'm just sitting here, I have my little box of watercolor stuff, and I thought, if I sorted it, then I could know what colors I have. I could just put these in all little, little compartments, and I could do pinks or whatever. This is one that I made out of these pebble things, and I didn't like how I did the leaves, so I just glued it, but it kind of got wet there. Anyway, that's all right. And, so you could use it to store whatever you want, just any little things. And that looks even pretty sticking out like that. Wow. So I haven't finished it yet because I haven't decided really what I want to use it for. But I think at the moment I'm going with like maybe a Velcro belly band, and then it's quick to get it off in case I need to get in there. You could also do like a little strap over here that would hold it together, and then it would look kind of like that. And the other thing is, if you wanted to do wider things, you could do that and just squish this down, and you could compress it, and you could fit more in here. You could fit a bunch more, probably 3 more, if you squeeze it. But if you glued the bottom down, you couldn't do that. Then you're kind of locked in, okay? Or use a hair binder and buttons to make an enclosure. That's a good idea. That would be very quick. Yeah. Oh, you like it, Madeline? I'm happy about that. Okay, let's see what else it said. Trim to 4 3-inch strips. I said that's for cut using die. Okay. Yeah. So I don't know. And then you could use these in here if you wanted just like little folders. Now that one I just cut because that was a mistake. This is just like a little folder, but you could use that like a little tiny file folder. This could be your own little accordion file folder with notes, or, that index cards would fit in here. Wait a minute. You could do what I have to do this week. Print, sign, and notarize lawyer stuff. It does. Look at that. Oh my Lord. That holds perfectly an index card. Wow. Okay. Just blew my mind there. I'm feeling something. Oh, I embossed a knitting thing. So, yeah, that's a good discovery. So anyway, guys, you can see it'll hold a lot. Gift seed caddy. Wouldn't that be nice? Does the envelope fit inside? Yes, it would, because this is 5.5. No, let's see. This is 5 inches wide. Yes, it would fit because that's 4 inches. Oh, wait a minute. I have one. Of course, I have everything on my desk. But yeah, that's a little, yeah. Oh yeah, plenty of room. You could put all of your little folders in there. Oh yeah, you could do, I was thinking of doing like sticking a gift card in here or like a, oh, actually, the paper came with these journaling cards. Or this, look at this. This was one that Susie made. It's a little bit bigger, but you know, you could put a little set of cards in there. Or these are journaling cards that I just cut out of that paper. Look at that. That fits perfectly. Trying to avoid the flaps or the tabs. But yeah, look at that. You could do a whole little notebook of journaling cards. Oh, I love that. Yeah, that would work. Yeah, see, these came with the paper. That's why I love the paper pads, you know. And these are nice because they have a lot of room to write. And that's pretty too. Enjoy today. Perfect one. Put that right on the front. Cut it down a little. Boom. So anyway, guys, that's what I have for you today. So I hope that you give it a try, and if you do, put it up in the fan club so we can all see it. And like I did with Bona, you know, use the inspiration that you get because you're watching this, and I bet you're thinking, well, wait a minute, I could do that with it, you know? So use all the ideas and let everybody share them and get them out there because it's fun. So that's the project. So like I said, not sure about Thursday. I will try, but no, I'm going to be driving. It's 500 miles up there. Can't believe I'm going for like 2 days. Ugh. Anyway, this was fun. I had fun making that. I love that cover. And, you know, just even like a little label or like a vellum something, a little envelope, one of those little baby envelopes. Let me see if I have one of them around. I don't know where I put them. But even something like that. It's the wrong color. But you know what I mean. Or you could use, this was some hand-dyed seam binding. You know, you could tie it up with that. Punch a hole, and just tie it. That easy. So lots of ways you can go. All right, guys. Hey, Pammy Joe. Yes, I'm going to see you. Good. That's going to be fun. All right, guys. Well, thanks, everybody. Hope you had a good weekend. I'll see you when I see you. And wish me luck with those kids. All right. See you guys. Have a great night. Bye.